Well, what do you know? What do you know? Tell y'all what I know. We got some numbers to recap. And I also know that it's been a little while since I put a video together. But I will say, I've tried to put one together. I did some recording, and then when it was all said and done, I just really wasn't feeling it. So I scrapped most all of it. Now, part of it I couldn't bring myself to scrap. I had to share it, so I'm gonna let y'all see that. But we are gonna recap the numbers. We'll recap the numbers here shortly, but until then, check this view out. Man, y'all see what I'm talking about? Couldn't bring myself to just throw that away, but felt like it was necessary to share it. But I will say, not a big fan of Wyoming. This time of year is not too bad. A lot of times if there's, it's still windy certain parts of the day and stuff like that, but for the most part it's nowhere near like it is in the winter time. And actually, if you get up around Casper and stuff like that, it's actually a pretty state. But anyway, enough rambling about Wyoming. It's been a long time since I ran through there. Like I said in my previous video, it's probably been over 1.5 years since I've ran that part of the country. So it was nice to be able to see it during its better times. So yeah, so let's get to the numbers though. Like I said in the last video, I wasn't able to get a load until Friday at like 2 o'clock. So the biggest part of the week was gone. And if you remember correctly, I delivered in Ardmore. I deadheaded from Ardmore to Oklahoma City, take the truck to the shop, and then from Oklahoma City I deadheaded all the way down to Dallas. So I had several miles of deadhead on the very beginning of all this before I even started the week, but them miles still count. So I still figure them into my total mileage, but we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, so I deadheaded to Dallas, Texas, and picked up a load that weighed 30,000 pounds going to Sandy, Utah. That load paid $2,921.25 to the truck. Now, and that was the only load that I got in for the week. That was it. That load delivered the beginning of the week. That was the end of my cutoff for my settlement. So with all the deadhead on the beginning of that, and then the total loaded miles, I ran 1,534 miles that week, and I ran 8.1 miles to the gallon. Now, with that revenue and them miles, that's only $1.90 a mile. Like I said, that load was a pretty good load for what it was. From Dallas to Sandy, it paid pretty decent. But I had over 300 miles of deadhead on the front end of that. So, and like I said, those miles still cost you, so you still got to figure them in. Now, from Sandy, Utah, beginning of a new week, I deadheaded to Ogden, Utah, and picked up a load that weighed 24,000 pounds that went to Seattle, Washington. That load paid $2,501.83. Then from Seattle, I deadheaded down to Sumner, Washington, and picked up a load that weighed 12,000 pounds and took that to Leland, Colorado. That load paid $3,578.49. Now, that was the only two loads that I ran for the week. That was 2,190 miles, and it was a total revenue of $6,080.32. So that's a rate per mile of $2.77, and my average fuel economy for that week was 8.3 miles to the gallon. I ran 62 mile an hour all week long that week. You know, I knew I was going to be up in the hills and stuff, so I was trying to keep my fuel economy where I like it at. I didn't want to suffer too much because of the fact that I was up that way. Now, I wasn't heavy on either one of those loads. 24,000 on one load, 12,000 on another. That's not terrible at all. But them hills will still get you even if you're empty. So, like I said, I was trying to do what I could to keep my fuel economy up. And yeah, that's how the week ended up. So, $277 a mile, a little over $6,000. And like I said, I only ran 2,190 miles. If y'all been following me for any time at all, that's a very easy week for me. It's not uncommon for me to run over 3,000 miles. I have found that I'm being a little more patient on looking for loads, and that is paying off. This week here has turned out to be a lot. I think it's going to turn out to be quite a bit better of a week. I haven't quite crunched the numbers yet, but I've kind of done like a rough guesstimate in my head to see where I'm at, and yeah, I think this week's going to turn out to be a lot better. So, getting a little bit better at this. Things are kind of coming together a little better. I'm getting past the whole learning curve and kind of, I guess you could say, getting into my groove. But yeah, so far so good. It was a little rough in the beginning, and that's to be expected. There's always going to be some growing pains with any kind of change, and like I said before, I had yet to run a full week. I'm now out doing my normal, running 2 weeks and then going home. I'm headed home this weekend, going home for Father's Day weekend, and then I'll get back into my routine of going home every other weekend. So anyway, I'm just rambling now, and so like always, if y'all are still hanging around, y'all are awesome. I appreciate y'all. Hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And like always, stay safe. Keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.